All right, let's graph this last one on this page. -2 sine 4x. Amplitude is always a positive value. So the number multiplying, we do the absolute value or the positive value of that number. The period, we're going to start with 2 pi. And we do the inverse of what we see. So we're going to divide by 4. So that gives me pi over 2. So we're going to draw the x and y axes. And then for pi over 2, let's do this. Let's make that pi over 2. And then that would make 1 pi. Now, halfway there, like half of a half, that would be pi over 4. So we're just creating our scale. And then on the y-axis, it goes up to 2 and down to -2. Sine starts in the middle. And then our period is pi over 2. That's also going to be the beginning and the end of one cycle. In the middle between that is going to be another middle point. Now, because we have a negative number being multiplied, there's a reflection. So instead of going to the maximum, the first 2 middle points first actually goes to the minimum, and then we create our pattern from there after the reflection. So we're going to follow that pattern to the left. And then we're going to connect and make our wave. Done. All right, turn the page. We have one more graph. So take a moment and look at it. Amplitude. What happens when you don't see a number in front? What number don't you see that's multiplied in front? That's 1. That's the amplitude. And again, we're going to start with 2 pi. The inverse of 1/2 is to multiply times 2. So the period now is 4 pi. So we're going to draw a set of axes. Set up our scale. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 pi. 1, 2, 3, 4, 8 pi. 1, 2, 3, 4, -4 pi. 1, 2, 3, 4, -8 pi. All right, so there's my scale. We're going to go up to 1 and down to -1. Cosine starts at the top of the wave. If cosine was negative in front, they would start at the bottom of the wave. So this starts at the top of the wave. I know at 4 pi is going to be the end of one cycle, and then in the middle here is going to be at the bottom of the wave. So for cosine, we have a top, and a bottom, and then we fill in the middle part of the wave. And then we follow that pattern across. And then draw your wave. All right, so there's graphing. The last part of the review and what's going to be on the exam is, do you know how to use a unit circle to find trig values? So this is just practicing using your unit circle. So you need to find this piece of paper in your notes. It's goldenrod. It says unit circle. If you don't have a handout unit circle, then go to your book, and where it says unit circle in your book, make sure it's out so you know how to use it. So we're going to follow these rules here, where sine is y, cosine's x, and so on. So when I look to see what's cosine at 60, I'm going to write down the rule first. So cosine is x. It's the x coordinate. Then I'm going to find where is 60 degrees on the circle. And then what's the x coordinate there? That's the first number. And then write down the answer. That's it. Sine and cosine are really simple. So sine, again, look for the rule and then write it down. So the rule is the y coordinate. Then look for 45 and go, okay, what's the y coordinate, the second number? And it's root 2 over 2, or pi over 4, says. All right, tangent 315. So look for the rule. You should press pause and try it first, and see if you got the answer right. Now, y over x, I'm going to do that above here. So the y value is negative root 2 over 2, and the x value is positive root 2 over 2. When the numbers are the same and you divide, that answer is going to be 1. Because we have a negative divided by a positive, the answer is going to be negative 1. All right, secant 2 pi, that's 1 over x. Look on your unit circle, where's 2 pi? The x value there is 1, so 1 divided by 1, and you have your answer. So again, press pause and see how many you can fill in, then press play to see if you did it right. So 210 cosecant, so that means the reciprocal. So find the y coordinate and then flip the y coordinate, and you have your answer. So it's negative 2. 2 pi over 3 cotangent, that's x over y. So at 2 pi over 3, I'll do that up here, that is, the x value is negative 1/2, and then you do the reciprocal. So you're dividing by y, do the reciprocal. Notice they cross out, and you have negative 1 over root 3. We're going to multiply by root 3 top and bottom, and then we're going to put our answer here. So the answer is negative root 3 over 3. Sine and cosine, those are the simple ones. Find 11 pi over 6. What's the y coordinate? It matters if the answer is positive or negative. Cosine 3 pi over 4, that's the x. Find where the x coordinate is. That's negative root 2 over 2. Cosine, again, is the x. Look for 300. The x coordinate. Sine 3 pi over 2, find it. That's at the bottom of your circle. It's the y coordinate. That's negative 1. Tangent 135. That's y over x. Those are the more challenging ones. But again, if you look at y over x, you end up with something very similar here, where it's root 2, or this one's actually positive and this one's negative. But you're still going to get the answer negative 1 because it's the same number dividing, and one number is positive and one number is negative. Secant 7 pi over 6. We're going to do the reciprocal of the x. And then I'm going to multiply by root 3, and then I get my answer. So it's negative 2 root 3 over 3. Cosecant 30, find where 30 degree is. Cosecant, the reciprocal of y. So the answer instead of 1/2 is 2. Cotangent pi over 6. That's x over y. So the x value is root 3 over 2. The y value is 1/2. Notice when simplifying, they have the same denominator, so that you can divide out the denominator, and then you have root 3 over 1, which is just root 3. Sine at 5 pi over 4, that's the easy one again. The y coordinate there, that's negative root 2 over 2. Cosine, again, another easy one. X value at 7 pi over 4, that's root 2 over 2. Cosine 330, the x value, we keep practicing until we know those rules. Sine at pi over 6, that's the y coordinate. Tangent 180, so again, that's y over x. So be careful here. When you have a 0 in the numerator, 0 divided by any number, the answer is 0. But if 0 was in the denominator, that would make it undefined. So this one's 0. 0 on top is good. 0 on the bottom is bad. All right, 5 pi over 3, and do the reciprocal. So at 5 pi over 3, the x coordinate, and if you do the reciprocal, so if you flip 1/2, it becomes 2. Cosecant 45 degrees. This one's a little bit tricky. So if you do the reciprocal, it's 2 over root 2, multiplied by root 2 top and bottom. And then you cross out the 2's here, and the answer is actually just root 2. And there's your answer. Cotangent at pi over 4, that's when you take the x divided by y. They're the same number when you're dividing. Sine, just the y coordinate. And cosine, just the x coordinate. And you have your answer. So I'm proud of you that you finished the study guide. I hope you're studying too, have your notes, and I know you're going to do great. Mr. G Math, over now.